It had been raining for hours. The boy sat, curled up on the couch, watching lightning flash across the sky through the living room window. His parents wouldn't be home until morning. They had left him with a pizza, a flashlight, and instructions to lock all of the doors. He'd done just that, twice. Around midnight, the storm quieted just enough that he could hear something else. At first, he thought it was just the rain, but it was too slow, too sharp, like someone lightly knocking on the glass. He grabbed the flashlight, his heart beating faster. Slowly, he walked toward the window. The tapping stopped. Lightning lit up the backyard, and for half a second, he saw it. A pale, blurred face right up against the window, grinning. Its features were all wrong. The eyes too wide, the smile too sharp. He stumbled backward, heart hammering. Someone's outside, he thought. He ran to the front door, yanked it open, and shined his light across the yard. Nothing. No footprints in the wet grass. When he turned back toward the window, he froze. The face was still there, but now it was on the inside, pressing against the glass. The boy screamed, dropping the flashlight, and when the beam hit the wall, the window was empty again. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, his parents found every door and window still locked from the inside, and a perfect, foggy handprint on the inside of the glass. Lena loved old technology. When she found a dusty, old-fashioned radio at a yard sale, she bought it for $5 and brought it home. It smelled faintly of metal and cigarette smoke, like it hadn't been touched in decades. That night, just for fun, she switched it on, static. She twisted the knob back and forth, trying to find a station, when suddenly a faint voice crackled through.
Hello?
She froze. It sounded so close. Not like a broadcast. More like someone whispering right into her ear. Hello? She said back, feeling ridiculous. The voice responded,
Lena.
Her stomach turned. There was no way it should know her name. She laughed nervously, telling herself it might just be a coincidence. Maybe a prank. But then, the voice said something that made her blood run cold.
Don't turn around.
She froze in place, her back suddenly prickling with cold. Slowly, she turned away. Nothing was there. When she faced the radio again, her heart nearly stopped. There were 2 radios sitting on her desk now. The second one was glowing faintly, like its dial light had been turned on, but she'd never seen it before in her life. Then both radios spoke at once in perfect unison.
Now you can't leave.
The lights in her room went out. The next morning, her parents found her room empty, except for 3 radios sitting on the desk, all faintly humming. For weeks, David heard scratching under his bed every night around midnight. At first, he blamed mice. Then he set traps. Nothing. Every night, like clockwork, the scratching came back. Long, slow, dragging scratches across the floorboards. One night, he couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed the flashlight, got on his knees, and peered under the bed. What he saw made his breath catch. A face. Not just any face. His face. Another version of him was laying perfectly still, pressed up against the floorboard, staring up at him with a wide, unblinking grin. Its eyes followed him as he moved, but the rest of his body never twitched. Then it whispered,
Get in. It's my turn now.
David scrambled back so fast he hit the dresser. When he looked again, nothing was there. The next night, there was no scratching. The night after that, still nothing. On the third night, David woke up and he was under the bed. He tried to scream, but nothing came out. His body wouldn't move. He could only watch as the other version of him, the one with the awful grin, climbed up onto the mattress, lay down, and closed its eyes. And from under the bed, David heard it whisper,
Finally.
There was an old amusement park on the edge of town, long, abandoned, and fenced off. The rides were rusted, the paint was peeling, and most people stayed away. One night, a group of teenagers dared each other to sneak in. They climbed up the fence and wandered through the empty park, laughing nervously. That's when they heard music. The old carousel was spinning slowly, lights flickering weakly as it played a distorted, broken tune. No way that thing still works, one of them whispered. But it was working. The horses were going up and down, and the carousel moving faster and faster. Then they saw it. Figures riding the horses. Not people. Shadowy, thin shapes, with faces that looked half melted, grinning as they spun around and around. The teenagers ran, but when they reached the fence, the music was everywhere, echoing through the park. The next morning, the neighbors complained about hearing carnival music all night, but when the police checked the park, the carousel wasn't moving, except for one new thing. A single horse was freshly painted, and on its saddle sat a phone that belonged to one of the teenagers, still recording.